Hey everyone, Ben here. The team at Authentic Collectibles HQ have been pretty excited about the 2024 Darwin Indigenous liveries being revealed over the past week and of course, racing last weekend. So we came up with an idea. Why not rank our favourite 2024 Indigenous liveries and get your thoughts on which cars we should definitely replicate as models moving forward? So sound off in the comment section below. Now this isn't necessarily a worst to best situation because all of the liveries are outstanding. All of the teams and Indigenous artists involved have done a really incredible job and should be proud of their work in bringing the Darwin round to life and celebrating Indigenous culture. We love them all, so this is just my personal list about what I liked in what order. So grab your popcorn, strap yourselves in, and feel free to rank them at home as we go along. First up at number 24 is the number 96 BJR Pizza Hut Camaro driven by Macaulay Jones. Now given that it's in last place on the list, doesn't mean that it's a bad livery. However, it is my least favourite mainly due to the lack of colours. The use of the wedge-tailed eagle or bungle is an awesome element to use, and the cheeky bone hands and rear spoiler adds a real nice touch to Macaulay's personality. However, given a lot of Macaulay's previous Pizza Hut liveries have been pretty wild, with lots of colour and vibrancy such as the SpongeBob livery or even last year's Indigenous livery for this car. This one just lacked that colour, patterns and overall playfulness that we've seen in the past. But some might also argue something totally different is good and maybe that's what they were going for. At number 23 is BJR's R&J Batteries number 8 Camaro, driven by Andre Heimgartner, who almost took flight during race 12 after being shunted into the 888 Camaro. This livery was designed by artists at the Mungabarina Aboriginal Corporation and is very cool, however the colours clash a bit for me. The cooler colours from greens to blues combined with the white, black and red might have been doing a bit too much. What I did like about it, however, was the use of the actual artwork itself. The patterns, lines and shapes were all over the car, which was great to see. Coming in at number 22 and 21, it's the Newlon Racing's number 23 Camaro, driven by Tim Slade. Now the menacing black, white and red is a great template for adding a cool Indigenous livery, however when you add browns and earthy colours it just doesn't work as well as it probably should have. Artist Sheldon S.J. Harrington did an amazing job with the artwork. The use of the patterns, lines and shapes added meaning, however I would have liked to have seen more of it on the car in less earthier colours. Same reasons apply with Newlon Racing's number 31 Camaro driven by James Golding, and congratulations to him for achieving his first pole position for the team last weekend. Now at number 20 and 19 it starts to become hard to choose. I've gone with both of the Tickford Racing Mustangs driven by Cam Waters and Thomas Randall. Now I do like this style of art made by Indigenous artist who goes by the name Shao. He has a really unique style and the artwork creates a very different effect when applied to a car livery. When compared to last year's ones, there's just not much to them. The silver worked really well with Cam's black Mustang, but it probably wasn't as effective on Randall's Mustang working across the various colours of the livery versus an all black car. But extra points because this is probably one of the most unique liveries I've ever seen on the grid this year. Coming in at 18 is the Erebus number 1 Camaro driven by Brodie Kostecki, who stood on his first podium since coming back as reigning champion, which was great to see. Brodie received a very cool livery update at the previous Perth Super Sprint with the Mercedes Tribute livery, and the Indigenous livery used that as a base. The colours and line work of the Indigenous artwork looked incredible, but there were some parts of the livery that also needed the artwork applied to be even more effective. I would have liked to see a more whole car livery approach applied to Kostecki's car as they did with Jack LeBrock's. But the black with the blue Indigenous art pieces still worked really well together and created a really striking element on the car. Well done to Indigenous artist Jettis Hudson. This was a tricky one because it is so different to the usual livery, but it's a very cool design. It's the number 12 Camaro driven by Jackson Evans. This livery was an amazing use of an Indigenous artwork and elements. From the paths, to the tracks, to the spirals and handprints, this car had it all. And the more you look at it, you can find more details. However, the mix of purples, browns and greens meant some of the detail got lost in that. But it was a really amazing piece of artwork designed by Eleanor Binge. The SCT Camaro probably gets the award for going all out with their livery. At 16 and 15, it's both the Team 18 cars raced by Mark Winterbottom in the number 18 DY Racing Camaro, who achieved a third place podium in race 11, and the number 20 Tradie Bear Racing Camaro driven by David Reynolds. Now as much as the two liveries are very clean, they're also very subtle, and compared to last year's versions for the team, they just weren't standing out as much to my eye. But that's not necessarily a bad thing either. The artwork designed by Shanae Sutton was awesome, and the team's merch also featured the artwork designed by her. Well done to Shanae Sutton. Next is the final Camaro by BJR, that's the Middies Camaro driven by Darwin local Bryce Forward. The use of the pink with the many different blues was a great colour choice and the artwork was outstanding. Great job to those involved with the Mungaburina Aboriginal Corporation. It had the element of colour and fun which worked really well, and I think that's what was missing on the 96 car from this team. Coming in at number 13 and 12 is both Penrite Racing Mustangs driven by Matt Payne and Richie Stanaway. These liveries looked killer. The use of the Penrite colours with the slight touch of green on the matte black looked awesome, and the artwork was used very well. Not to mention the livery was designed by Year 9 MITS students Emma and Joanna, which was a great collaboration. They should be really proud of their work, as all the artists involved should be. Now this is where it gets really tough because the remaining liveries are hard to split as we move towards the remaining 10. At number 11 and 10 we have the Red Bull Ampol Racing Camaros driven by Will Brown and Brock Feeney, who did an amazing job during the Darwin Triple Crown race weekend. They're clearly the team to beat for the championship, and it would be nice to be producing these models for them too. Maybe one day, hey? The use of Red Bull's colours and Indigenous artwork was really awesome. The artwork symbolised the journey of the drivers and was designed by Clontarf Foundation students at the Gunnerston Academy. Great work to those involved. At number 9 and 8 is the Walkinshaw Andretti United Mustangs driven by Ryan Wood and Chaz Mostert, who overtook 17 cars to finish 5th from 22nd. Hopefully he can save us a few cheeseburgers next round.
I got the cheese.
Both liveries were incredible and very different to their usual season colour schemes, switching from their regular white base to a satin black, contrasted really well with the dark blue and orange artworks. The artwork used on Mostert's Mustang in particular looks incredible. It was a great effect and great use of the Indigenous artwork, designed by Ava Muir, who designed the 25 livery, and Rhonda Sampson, who designed the number 2. Coming in at number 7 and 6 is the Matt Stone Racing Camaros driven by Nick Percat and Cameron Hill. The reason why I chose these cars to be this high up was because the use of their artworks was great. It wasn't too out there and it wasn't too subtle, it was the perfect application, all while keeping the MSR look to the liveries. It probably helped having Dabble as the new sponsor on the Cameron Hill car. The purple was a great new look. Great work by Billy J. O'Toole. At number 5 we have the number 3 Cool Drive Racing Mustang driven by Aaron Love. Now Cool Drive always has some great liveries in my opinion. The use of the blue was perfect and the art style really stood out. Great work to Kaya Nicholson. At number 4 we have the second Erebus Camaro driven by Jack LeBrock. The number 9 Camaro featured a new sponsor, and that is Tire Power, and the use of their colours was awesome. Blues, reds and whites was a very different approach to the white, black and orange Bic livery they announced in Perth. The artwork was used perfectly around the car and it was a refreshing change all around. Great work to Jettis Hudson. Now it's time for the top 3. As the grid gets closer to number 1, you could probably guess who's in 2nd and 3rd. It's both Shell V-Power Racing Team Mustangs driven by Anton De Pasquale and Will Davison. Their livery was outstanding. The use of the usual Shell V-Power Racing colours was great. The livery definitely popped with the artwork all around the car, and the red hosting the Indigenous artwork very faintly on the sides instead of the usual white was amazing. They even had a pretty good merch range too, featuring the great work designed by Zoe Raymond, who is actually Perth born. It's good to see some Perth talent in the supercar. Last but not least, at number 1, it had to be the Snowy River Mustang raced by James Courtney, and I think mostly everyone here in the office agreed. The artwork was insane and won a lot of bonus points for me by taking a different route and making the car bright orange instead of the usual black and turquoise as seen on the usual number 7 Mustang. The team at Blanchard Racing and Snowy River should be congratulated for doing something so different. Everything about this livery was outstanding, from the stripes to the footprints, and it couldn't have worked without the amazing work by Kaya, who also designed the Cool Drive Racing livery. There was one car I missed because it was a wildcard and not part of the regular season grid, the 888 Super Cheap Auto Wildcard Camaro, driven by Cooper Murray, who unfortunately copped a Heimgartner to the face in the Sunday race. This livery was amazing and really popped. If I was to add it to the list, it'd be 2nd or maybe even 1st. It stood out so well for me. Awesome job to William Hewitt and to those involved at Heart Kids Australia. So that's my list. What's your thoughts, everyone? Did I nail it or am I totally wrong? Feel free to like the video and comment about what your favourite livery was during the 2024 Darwin Triple Crown, as we can make some calls about which of these supercars should be produced as models by us in the future. Make sure to check out our website for Indigenous livery models that we've previously released in the past years. Thank you again, everyone. Cheers.